Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Dr. Ali Zaini, and I'm teaching Arabic class in the weekend Islamic school. And today we're going to talk about sarf. We're going to talk about sarf. Sarf means having hamza, having kasra or having tanween. I'm sorry, having kasra or having tanween. If the sarf is forbidden, means we're forbidden from taking kasra or tanween. So kasra or tanween are forbidden. That's when uh, sarf is forbidden. Okay, sarf is forbidden means that it can't have tanween or kasra. The noun can't have tanween or kasra. For example, the first category, names ending with ta marbuta. Okay, maqsura name is here, which is the noun ending with alif maqsura, are called al-ism al-maqsur, such as hospital, mustashfa, Moses, Musa. Female name, Salma. Hubla, pregnant. Patients, marda. Okay, these are the examples. They always end with the. Mustashfa, Musa, Salma, Hubla, marda. They always end with that. So these are, it's called alif maqsura, and the ism, the noun itself, called noun al-maqsur, al-ism al-maqsur, noun maqsur. Okay, so female ending with ta marbuta, names ending with ta marbuta, such as Fatima, Fatimatu, Aishatu, Makkatu, Juddatu. These are names ending with ta marbuta, whether they are female names or male names ending with ta marbuta, like Hamzatu, Usamatu, Muawiyatu, Talhatu. Okay, these are names ending with ta marbuta. Okay, even though they are male names ending with ta marbuta, they are, sarf is not allowed. Sarf is forbidden for them. Maqsura and more than three letters. Okay, maqsura and more than three letters, such as Mustashfa, Musa, Salma, Hubla, Marda. And then three letters with middle sukoon, the nouns that have three letters with middle sukoon, such as Misru, Hindu. Okay, and to differentiate between Misr as a noun and Misr as a name, okay, tanween is going to tell me if the Misr have a tanween, then it's any country. But if it has no tanween, then it is sarf is forbidden, and it is a name of a country. So Misr here is a noun. Misr here is a noun. Misr here is a name. There's noun and there's name. Okay. Any name, the second category is any name, or the second case, any name or adjective that ends with alif noon. And make sure it's not dual noun, because dual noun, sarf is forbidden right away. Such as Uthman, Uthmanu, Affanu, Sufyanu, Marawanu, Kaslanu, Jawanu, Atshanu, Mal'anu. Then nouns of ending with alif hamza or starting with alif hamza or both. Exception if the alif hamza comes as the third letter, such as sama'un, urwa'un. Okay? The nouns ending with alif hamza: أغنياء، أصدقاء، أقوياء، أطباء، فقراء، وزراء، زملاء، علماء. Or ending with or starting with alif hamza: أكبر، أحسن، أبيض، أسود، أحمر، أصفر، أزرق، أحمد، أنور. Okay? The exception is when the third letter, when alif hamza comes as a third letter. Here, alif hamza comes as a third letter, and here's alif lambda comes as a third letter. Now, irregular plural that has madda in the middle, followed by 2 or 3 letters. They will sound like مفاعل، مفاعيل، فعائل، أفاعيل، فواعل، تفاعيل, and these are called wazn. Wazn means a standard way of explaining the rules, standard way using فعل, using the verb فعل. مفاعل is like مساجد، مدارس، فنادق، مكاتب، دقائق. مفاعيل مناديل، مفاتيح، فناجين. فعائل نظراء، خمائل. نظائر، نظائر، خمائل. أفاعيل is أحاديث، أناجيل. فواعل is حوادث، جوامع. تفاعيل is تسابيح، تراويح. So names that can be used as verbs, like Ahmed, Ahmadu can be used as a verb, like thank Allah or praise Allah, or actually thank or praise is Ahmadu. Yazidu can be understood as somebody who is increasing, or somebody who is have more, okay, more of good things. So, and they are, the wazn is أفعل يفعل. The standard way of explaining it, of the form, is أفعل يفعل. And then names transformed from verbs, such as عامر، عمر، عمر. زاحل، زحل. هابل، هبل. Okay, and this is like فاعل، فعل، 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 فاعل، فعل. Foreign names like Donald, Pharaoh, Joseph, Ibrahim, Yusuf, foreign names. So all names of prophets, sarf is forbidden, except for these 6 prophets: شعيب، محمد، لوط، هود، نوح، صالح. And names, compound names that are made of 2 words, like Ba'la, Bak, Hadra, Maut, made of 2 sections. Now, if the sarf is forbidden, then we replace the kasra and substitute it with the fatha, which means that no sarf, no kasra. If sarf is not checked for dual, regular male plurals, because it's not applicable. And 3, the rule for regular female plural noun is that fatha is not allowed and tanween is allowed only if they have a no alif lam. So rule 285, the nouns that can't have tanween but can have kasra. First, nouns starting with alif lam. الصحراء، المنزل، الولد, they can take kasra but no tanween. Now, when the noun is qualifying or specifying another noun, which is called mudaf wa mudaf ilayh, and we're going to learn the future مضاف ومضاف إليه. The first noun is called مضاف, can't have تنوين or ألف لام, like رب المنزل, رب منزل, كتاب الولد, كتاب الولد. Okay, all right. Now let's see examples. Let's do the homework together. Let's do examples from the homework together that explains everything. It's a standard procedure. Okay. This is homework number 6. Okay. Now, the first name is Muhammadun. Muhammadun, sarf is allowed because no, here it says that Muhammadu, sarf is allowed. Sarf is allowed, Muhammadu. Okay. So sarf is allowed because of rule number 7. So sarf is allowed, the rule number 7. So we put rule number 7 like that. Okay. Rule 280. This is called rule 280. This table is called rule 280. And rule 285. This table is rule 285. Okay. Waladun or waladun, waladu. Sarf is allowed. Why? Because it's not any of these 8 cases. It's none of those 8 cases. Salihatu, salihatu, name. As name, sarf is as a name. Sarf is not allowed. Why? Because we have here rule number 1. Rule number 1, it says that female name ending with ta marbuta or not ending with ta marbuta. Female names, all kinds of female names, names, not nouns, names, all kinds of female names, the sarf is forbidden. Sarf is forbidden. So here it says no. No sarf means sarf is forbidden. And this is from rule number 1, which is this rule. Okay, which is case number 1, which is this case here. Case number 1, not rule number 1, case number 1. Okay. And there is Saliha as a noun. Salihatun as a noun. This should be tanween because we're allowed. Sarf is allowed. So then this one is tanween because sarf is allowed. Sarf is allowed. So this is Saliha could be used as a name of a girl. I know girls that their name is Saliha. If it's a name, then sarf is forbidden. So you cannot have tanween or kasra. But if it's a noun, then sarf is allowed because it doesn't fall under any of these cases. Okay, so sarf is allowed. But if it's name, then sarf is not allowed or sarf is forbidden. Sa'idatu, if it's a name, then sarf is not allowed. Based on what? Based on case number 1 here, that any female names. But if it is a noun, if it's a noun, then sarf is allowed, because rule number one, case number one, or category number one, is not allowed, does not allow, does not apply if it's a noun. زارع, زارع is, sarf is allowed because it's none of those, doesn't, all these cases don't apply to زارع, so it's allowed. زارعتين, if we go down to table, to the rules here, it says that note number 2, that sarf is not checked for dual and regular male plurals because it's not applicable. So sarf is not checked because it's not applicable. Okay. And this one is from note number 2. So note number 2 here is not applicable. متكلم is the speaker. Sarf is allowed because it doesn't fall under any of those. And زارعين, it's farmers, 3+ male farmers. So according to note number 2, sarf is not allowed. Sarf is not applicable because it's a dual noun. نائم is allowed because it doesn't fall under any of those cases. Is it a female name? No. Is it name ends, or any name or adjective ends with alif noon? No. Is it nouns? Is it nouns or adjective ending with alif lam, alif hamza, or starting with alif hamza? No. Is it irregular plural? No. Is it verb that can be noun, names that can be used as verbs? No. Names transformed from a verb? No. Is it فعل? No, it's not فعل. Is it a name of a prophet, with the exception of those 6 prophets? No. Is it a compound name? No. Names made of 2 syllables or 2 syllabi. Okay? Like these names, made of combining 2 words and they become 2 syllabi. So then it's allowed. Then sarf is allowed. Sharibun. Okay? You notice here I did not put either dhamma or tanween at the end, because you're supposed to figure out if tanween is applicable or not. So sharibun is it, sharibun means drinker, person who's drinking, and it's 1 male. It's either sharibu or sharibun, depends on the sarf. So we look here. Is it a female name? No. Drinker is not a name, it's a noun. Is it a name? Does it end with alif noon? No. Is it starts with alif hamza, ends with alif hamza? No. Is it, does it sound like مفاعله? No. Why? شاربه doesn't sound like مفاعله. Does it sound like مفاعيله? No, doesn't sound like مفاعيله. Does it sound like فعائله? No, it doesn't sound like فعائله. Does it sound like أفاعيل? أفاعيله? No. Does it sound like فواعل? No. Does it sound like تفاعيله? No. Does it sound like أفعله? No. يفعله? No. Does it sound like فاعله? No. فعله? No. Is it a foreign name? No. Here it's names, so we shouldn't uh, check this one because it's name. But this one is not a name. It's a drinker. It's a noun. Is it foreign name? No, not foreign name. Foreign to the Arabic language. Is it compound of two syllabi? No. Or two words? No. So therefore, sarf is allowed. So we put A here. Sarf is allowed. Okay, because it's a noun. Okay, because it's a noun and none of these cases apply to it. طالبو or طالبو. Okay, طالبو if sarf is forbidden, طالب if sarf is allowed. And you notice that I don't put haraka at the end so that you figure out if sarf is allowed or not. So this one, sarf شاربه, sarf is allowed. So we can put tanween at the end. This is sarf is allowed, so we can have tanween at the end. طالبه or طالب depends on the sarf is allowed or not. So we look at the table and see if any of those cases apply. Okay. Is it a female name? No. Does it end with alif noon? No. Does it end or start with alif hamza? No. Does it sound like masajidu, like mafa'ilu? No. Does it sound like mafa'ilu? No. Talib, talibu doesn't sound like mafa'ilu or mafa'ilu. Doesn't sound like any of those because it's not a regular plural. Not a regular plural. Talibu is a student. How do I know that? It's from Google Translator. And it is student, it's 1M. One M. Superscript. Okay. So it's 1M. Talibu is 1M. So case number 4, irregular plurals don't apply. Case number 5, does it sound like أفعله? يفعله? No, because it's talibu. Okay. Does it sound like names transformed from a verb, like فاعل فعل. No, it's not. Actually, it's فاعل sounds like طالب, and but it's not transformed from name unless it is يطلب. يطلب, it's transformed from verb يطلب. The verb is يطلب. So it sounds like فاعل. So that's case number 6. So we say here, صرف is forbidden. صرف is forbidden. So put an N here. So N means it's not allowed, which means it's forbidden. And it's case number 6. So we look at case number 6 here. This is case number 6. And put an X here, specifying that it's basically X here, specifying that it is specifying its rule number 6. It's category number 6. شجرة or شجرة is tree. Tree. And it's 1F. How can I tell it's 1F? If you recall the past lectures, the past classes, superscript, we can determine the gender and the count using this table here that we have explained last time thoroughly. This table here is how can you tell if something is noun or not, one male or one female or not. And that translation comes from Google Translator. So شجرة is tree, it's one female. It's, you might say, it ends with تاء مربوطة. Then if it ends with تاء مربوطة, then صرف, you might come and say, okay, صرف is not allowed according to category number 1. صرف is not allowed. And the answer is no. The answer is no. Why? Because case number 1 is about names, not nouns. So despite the fact that this ends with تاء مربوطة, but because it's a noun, not a name, it means that صرف is allowed. So this doesn't apply. It's not a female name. It's not a name. It doesn't end with alif noon. It doesn't start with alif hamza or ends with alif hamza. It's not a regular plural. And it cannot be used as a verb. And it's not transformed from verb. It's not fa'ilu or fu'alu. It's not a foreign name. It's not a compound name. So صرف is allowed. صرف is allowed. Bintu from Google Translation, it's girl. And we know girl is one F. Girl is one F. Okay, let's go back here. Is it a female name? No, it's a female noun, not name. And category number one is for names. So it's not a name. So case number one doesn't apply. It doesn't end with alif noon. Does not end with alif hamza or starts with alif hamza. If it's not a regular plural, it cannot be used as a verb. Tree cannot be used as a verb. The word tree. Is not transformed from a verb. It's not fa'ilu or fa'alu. It's not a foreign name. It's not a compound name. Therefore, sarf is allowed. Musalli, musalli, sarf. Let's go and see which case does musalli apply to. So musalli, is it a name? No. Musalli is a person who is doing prayer. And it's one male. Okay? Again, how do I figure out? You go back to rule. You go back to rule number rule number 250. Rule number 250 will tell you what kind of a noun is this. Okay? So rule 250 will tell you that musalli is 1M. Okay? Does it end with thamil ta? No. Alif ta? No. Alif noon? No. Ya noon? No. Waw noon? No. Then it is regular one male. Okay? So regular one male, let's go to, this is rule 250. Let's go to rule 285. 280. Nouns that can't have tanween or kasra. Okay. Is it a female noun? No. Mm. Praying person. Praying person or prayer. Yeah, probably. I would say prayer or praying person. Praying person is musalli or prayer. It doesn't matter. Okay. So it's not a name. So one doesn't apply. Case one doesn't apply. Does not end with alif noon. Then case two doesn't apply. Does not start with alif hamza or ends with alif hamza. Then case three does not apply. It's not irregular plural. Then case four is not apply. Is not applicable. It it doesn't sound like ahmadu, af'alu, or yaf'alu. And it's not a name transformed from a verb. It's not fa'ilu or fu'alu. And it's not a foreign name. Therefore, and it's not a compound name. Therefore, sarf is allowed. Musalliyatu is a praying person, but it's female. Praying person, but one female. So, okay, so just the case with musalli. Is it case number one? No. Which is a female noun? No. It's not a female noun. I'm sorry, a female name? No. It's not a female name. It's a female noun. So case one doesn't apply. Case two, does it end with alif noon? No. Case three doesn't end or starts with alif hamza? No. Is it a regular plural? No. Does it sound like af'alu or yaf'alu? No. Does it sound like fa'ilu or fa'alu? No. Is it foreign name? No. Is it a compound name? No. Therefore, sarf is allowed. Okay. When we have zari'aini, which is farmers, and it's 2m. Farmers, and it's 2m. And 2m goes as superscript. Okay. And reduce the size. So that it fits. So it's not applicable. Based on what I say not applicable? Based on note number 2, which says sarf is not checked for dual and regular male plurals because it's not applicable. So this one is dual because it's 2m, so it's not applicable. So it's not applicable according to case number 2 or note number 2. So this is note number 2. This is the note number. So it's note number 2. We can split the window so that we are looking okay. نائماني is sleepers. And sleepers sleepers, and it is 2M. And it is superscript, and reduce the size so that it fits in and change the color. Okay, so it doesn't apply. Just like the case before, it's not applicable. Based on what? Based on note number 2. Okay, based on note number 2. Note number 2. Okay. زائرة ends with تاء مربوطة, but it's a noun. It's not a name. So it's a noun. So because it's a noun, case 1 doesn't apply, because case 1 is for names. Case 2, it doesn't end with alif noon. Case 3, doesn't end with alif hamza or starts with alif hamza. Case 4, it's not irregular plural. Case 5, it's not a name that can be used as a verb. Case 6, it's not verb name transformed from a verb. Case 7, it's not a foreign name. Okay. Case 8, it's not a compound name. So therefore, it's sarf is allowed. نائمون, according to note number 2, sarf is not checked for dual or regular male plural. Okay, so so that's not applicable because of note number 2. Note number 2. Note number 2. نائمات, زائرة is a visitor, and it's 1F. نائمون, sleepers. And it is 3 plus 3 plus M three plus M means plural, and superscript and decrease the size so that it fits. Okay. So na'imatun or na'imatu is also sleepers, but it's 3F. So 3F, they fall under here. Rule 285, or actually, note number 3, for regular female plural, the kasra is allowed, but the fatha is not allowed. And tanween is allowed only if there is no alif lam. Tanween is totally forbidden. If you have alif lam, then tanween is forbidden. Okay? Tanween is forbidden if you have alif lam, according to this. So it cannot have tanween, but it have kasra. So now bintani, two girls. Bintani is two girls. And it's dual female. Two females, girls. Two female. So two female, according to this rule, it's not applicable. Not applicable according to rule, not to according to note number 2. So here's note number 2. Not applicable. Talibani, students, two males. Talibani, superscript, and reduce the size. And it doesn't apply because it's a dual noun. So rule, it's note number 2, says that it doesn't apply. Okay, any questions?